Sectional leader Fu led Li Qiye and the meager three-person traveling party into a medium-sized meeting chamber. This room was typically reserved for entertaining ordinary guests without any great importance. For an event as monumental and influential as a marriage proposal between two major sects, the Nine Saint Demon Gate dispatching a mere sectional leader to handle the negotiations was a blatant display of disrespect. Furthermore, subjecting the Cleansing Incense Ancient sect to the standard courtesy procedures meant for normal guests clearly demonstrated that they placed absolutely no emphasis on this visit. The atmosphere within the room was thick with a sense of abandonment and unacknowledgement, perfectly reflecting the severe decline of the Cleansing Incense Ancient sect's status in the eyes of this powerful host.
Deep within the inner sanctuary, inside a sacred and dimly lit ancient temple, the thunderous voice of an elder echoed with terrifying power. This imposing voice, capable of instilling deep-seated fear into the very core of one's heart, resonated only within the confined dimensions of the temple. Sectional leader Fu, who was extremely arrogant and boastful on the outside with his title of named hero, was now reduced to a quivering mess. Trembling uncontrollably, he dropped to his knees and bowed deeply to the floor. With a shaky voice, he reported that the prime disciple was but an ant, a mere mortal, and an ignorant young brat entirely unworthy of discussion. The elder coldly replied, "I see. Take your leave," prompting Fu to carefully back out of the room.
Stepping outside the temple, sectional leader Fu's body was entirely drenched in cold sweat. As a mere sectional leader, he severely lacked the qualifications and status required to meet directly with such a high-ranking elder. Even royal nobles had to await a formal summons before receiving such an honor. Meanwhile, back inside the empty temple, the elder began conversing with a mysterious, unseen figure. Legend stated that this mysterious demon king possessed an origin and true form of unimaginable power, ruling the old Ox country with an absolute, tyrannical grasp that no one dared to oppose. The elder remarked that by picking a mortal with a mortal physique, life wheel, and fate palace as their prime disciple, the Cleansing Incense Ancient sect was utterly beyond saving.
Back in the guest reception room, Protector Mo remained seated in absolute, heavy silence, not uttering a single word. The atmosphere in the chamber was suffocating, filled with extreme pressure and awkwardness born from the host's blatant neglect and disrespect. Nan Huairan, possessing a quick wit and sharp social survival skills, craftily found an excuse to escape this torturous room and its uncomfortable air. He could no longer bear the immense tension, leaving Protector Mo to shoulder the heavy burden alone. Meanwhile, Li Qiye was completely unfazed by the cold and distant reception. Having no interest in sitting around aimlessly or participating in fake pleasantries, he had already retreated to his own private room, his mind set on much grander goals.
The moment he entered his private quarters, Li Qiye did not waste a single second and instantly began practicing the invisible dual blades technique. He was determined to deeply ingrain every stance and movement into both his body and his mind. Over his long existence, Li Qiye had realized that understanding the profound truths behind a technique was vastly different from actually utilizing it to reach the absolute apex. Even peerless geniuses fully grasping immortal emperor merit laws could not execute them perfectly without enduring excruciating levels of practice. The two blades sliced through the air, gracefully intersecting like a pair of dancing butterfly wings before returning to his hands. Yet despite countless repetitions, he knew his mortal body still harbored slight flaws.
"What impeccable blade plays! Senior disciple is so diligent," a voice suddenly called out. In the eyes of the beholder, the blade dance seemed absolutely flawless. Nan Huairan walked into the room, accompanied by another young teenager. Watching the practice, Nan Huairan couldn't help but sigh with deep regret, truly respecting Li Qiye's earnest and tremendous efforts. He felt it was a profound shame that his senior disciple's innate talents were so utterly underwhelming.
With even half of this dedication paired with true talent, he could have gone far. Sheathing his blades, Li Qiye appeared sweaty and tired, yet his posture remained relaxed as he calmly stated, "To reach the apex, one must never stop self-improvement."
Smiling respectfully, Nan Huairen promised to remember those wise words and strive for self-improvement before introducing the young man standing beside him. "This is Big Brother John, a good friend of mine," he said. Unlike his master, Nan Huairen was incredibly socially capable, boasting a wide network of friends everywhere. Disciple John shared this sociable nature, yet his underlying attitude was entirely different. In John's eyes, a completely ordinary mortal with no special powers like Li Qiye was entirely unworthy of respect. He offered a minimal nod of greeting, solely out of consideration for his friendship with Nan Huairen. To Zan, whatever martial arts a mere mortal painstakingly practiced were completely meaningless in the grand world of cultivators.
This is the first time Senior Disciple visits the Nine Saint Demon Gate. How about we walk around so that you can be accustomed to the scenery? Hearing this, Li Qiye suddenly recalled events from his ancient past, smiled faintly, and easily agreed. Nan Huairen turned to his friend, asking him to be their guide. Disciple Zhang replied that he was being too reserved, but deep down he felt incredibly unwilling. Left with no other choice but to nod his head, he agreed simply to avoid straining his friendship with Nan Huairen. Truthfully, he had absolutely no desire to act as a tour guide for someone he deemed as lowly as Li Qiye.
In reality, as the host sect, the Nine Saint Demon Gate should have properly guided Li Qiye to promote a positive relationship. However, since they considered him completely worthless, all basic courtesy and rules were unceremoniously tossed aside. As Disciple John led them around the magnificent premises, he exclusively conversed with Nan Huairen, treating Li Qiye like an invisible phantom. Their group's presence quickly sparked a storm of whispers among the local disciples. Gazing from a distance, one disciple frowned in disgust, questioning if that was truly the prime disciple of the cleansing incense ancient sect. Another laughed with open scorn, mocking the fallen second-rate establishment for allowing a mere mortal to hold such a worthless position.
The insults grew sharper as another disciple sneered. A mortal wanting to marry Senior Li? Rotten chopsticks wanting a gold bowl. Why not look into the mirror to see how lowly you are? For the disciples of the Nine Saint Demon Gate, Li Shuangyan was their true prime descendant, blessed with unparalleled talent, supreme intelligence, and unmatched beauty. Countless young geniuses within the sect held her as their ultimate secret desire, and suitors from afar could form a line stretching across the nation. She was an untouchable goddess. The one furious thought uniting all these brilliant young cultivators was a burning desire to spit on Li Qiye's face for his shameless audacity in trying to bind their goddess with an outdated marriage pact.
Feeling the immense weight of the hostile, malicious glares from his own fellow disciples, Disciple Zhang became overwhelmingly embarrassed to be seen acting as a guide for Li Qiye. Desperate to distance himself from the public disdain, he noticeably accelerated his pace, trying to create as much space as possible between them. Eventually, Zhang walked so fast that he completely left Li Qiye behind, clearly signaling that he wanted no association with the universally despised young man. However, Li Qiye seemed completely oblivious and utterly unbothered by Zhang's blatant display of disgust. He did not rush to catch up or show any anger, preferring to maintain his own steady, methodical pace while the others hurried ahead.
Walking at a steady, carefree rhythm, Li Qiye fully absorbed the breathtaking heavenly scenery of the Nine Saint Demon Gate. His demeanor was incredibly natural and relaxed to the utmost degree. His sharp eyes swept across the grand landscape, quietly admiring its majesty. to an ancient existence who had lived for 1,000,000 years, witnessed the rise and fall of countless eras, and mentored legendary immortal emperors. The petty insults and hateful glares of these young disciples were nothing more than the meaningless chirping of birds. His perspective existed on a plane far beyond their shallow conflicts. Thus he strolled through the hostile territory with the absolute ease and absolute grace of a high noble taking a leisurely walk in his own private backyard.
Unable to bear the suffocating tension building around them, Nan Huairen fell back to walk beside Li Qiye, his face painted with deep concern. "Senior disciple, you have to be careful," he warned earnestly. "Many people are courting your fiancé, and they will not hesitate to cause trouble for you." Nan Huairen knew intimately just how arrogant and terrifyingly powerful the disciples of the Nine Saint Demon Gate could be. He understood that if Li Qiye acted too boldly or provoked them, severe danger would inevitably follow, and as a mere guide, Nan Huairen would be powerless to protect him from the sect's collective wrath. He desperately hoped Li Qiye would keep a low profile to ensure their mutual safety.
Hearing the earnest warning, Li Qiye merely offered a faint, unbothered smile. "It is only a girl. There is no need for such commotion," he answered with a calm, almost chillingly indifferent tone. Across his 1,000,000-year lifespan, he had encountered countless country-destroying beauties whose allure could cause nations to fall. Therefore, a potential fiancé with the beauty of a goddess barely registered in his mind. It was a completely trivial matter. He knew that physical beauty was merely a superficial shell destined to wither with time, whereas his true focus remained entirely on the monumental path to reclaim his sect's lost glory. This shockingly dismissive answer left Nan Huairen completely stunned, wondering where this mortal acquired such supreme confidence.
Before they knew it, their walk brought them directly to the main training ground of the Nine Saint Demon Gate. This massive facility was an open center of cultivation accessible to all disciples. Stepping inside, one was immediately overwhelmed by a profound sense of their own insignificance. Compared to the gigantic, towering battle stage that stretched endlessly before them, a person felt as tiny as an ant standing in the middle of a boundless, infinite expanse. Constructed from giant, ultra-durable meteorite rock, the arena had withstood the devastating blows of countless experts over the centuries. Radiating a thick aura of combat and raw determination, this awe-inspiring stage was exactly where Li Qiye would soon face his ultimate trial. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up to show your support. And if you don't want to miss out on more fun stories or great insights like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop a new video. Thanks for watching until the end. See you in the next one. Bye for now.